Hi, and welcome to this special edition of the MHR show. I'm Beth Fear, Account Manager at MHR, and today I'm joined by my customer, Heather Robinson from McIntyre Compliance Services. We're going to be talking all about the People First experience and your experience with MHR generally.
Thanks, Beth. So I work for McIntyre Compliance Services. I'm their Head of People and Culture. I've worked for them for 3.5 years now, and they are predominantly a compliance-based business, so they look at fire and electrical safety, and predominantly with the social housing sector.
So what initially attracted you to People First?
So in terms of People First, we looked at quite a lot of systems. We really were looking for a system that was kind of a one-stop shop. Most of my employees are remote, so I wanted an app-based system that they can access remotely. For us, there were various things that kind of stuck out. One of them really was the organisation chart. Really easy to kind of manoeuvre around it and make changes to the structure, which at the minute is something that we don't have, or we didn't have available in our old system.
So what challenges were you facing before you implemented People First?
So really the system that we were using beforehand was a finance-based payroll system, and we were just manipulating it from a HR perspective to try and get some data out of it. It was very clunky. It took a long time to achieve anything within it. For example, to put a new starter on really would take, in some instances, almost half a day because of some of the complexities around it, which was just ridiculous. And we've been able to kind of reduce that now with MHR to literally between 15 to 30 minutes, depending on who it is and if there's a role already there for them.
So could you explain how People First was implemented?
Yeah, no problems. So for us, we kicked off the project in January. We had a really hard cut-off by the end of March. It had to go live on the 1st of April. We were doing it to a financial year end and starting a new fresh in the new system. And we had to do that because our old payroll provider was not very good at giving us the data out of the system. So we really had that tight cut-off time. We worked really closely with our consultants. We had mainly two, one from a HR side, one from a payroll side. They were really fantastic. So it was consultant-led. However, we were the ones putting the data in the system and setting the system up. So from our perspective, what it's meant is since go live, we understand how the system works. So at the time, it was quite painful putting all the data in, but actually it's really benefited us in the long run, because if something now is not quite right in the system, we can go, oh, I know where that is because I remember putting that in originally and how it all fits together, which is great. And the other thing for us, which was really important to me, is that it was a one-stop shop. So our consultant, or one of the consultants, worked really closely with us in putting a page in designed by us, for us, which had all of our policies and procedures and our first aiders and all the relevant contact details and things for our employees to be able to access, all on our specific Safe Places, Safe People page, which is great.
So could you tell me a little bit about how the adoption was for your employees?
Yeah, so for us, we took an approach where we wanted to take the employees on a journey with us. So we did a countdown to the system going live, and then we did some really kind of high-level training with them. So we did different sessions for our employees and for our line managers. Obviously, our line managers are going to use the system slightly differently. But with everybody, what we did was on the go live is we made sure that we kept some of the fields empty. So they had to go in, they had to update their next of kin details, they had to check all their address details. There was various bits that we wanted them to go and have a look around, which would give them a feel for the system as well. And not only that, we uploaded their current holiday in, but we wanted them to check it and make sure it was right and add any additional in that they had. So that really for us, we also then could monitor that they'd been into the system because we could see whether they'd activated their account. But also it was a great way for them, for us to know that they were embracing it and seeing the system live.
So how has it improved your day-to-day life?
Well, for one, payroll has been a massive improvement for us. So in our old system, we had, if we ever needed any changes for payroll, etc., we would submit them, but we wouldn't know if they'd gone through until the actual payroll date. So there was no transparency around it. With our outsourced payroll person within MHR, they've been fantastic. So we have a named person, I've got a named account manager. If they run the payroll process for us, if we have queries, we can go back and forth with them. It's a very fluid relationship, and we can see the changes that are made real time because it's in the system. So whatever we update, we can share with them, whatever they update in terms of the uploads that they put in for us. And we have quite a few because we have average holiday pay, for example, which is quite complicated. So they deal with that for us, but then we can see it, and if we need to have those conversations, I've got a direct line to my named person who I can just pick up the phone and have those conversations and fix anything straight away. And then if we have queries which can't be resolved, then they go through the service desk at MHR.
And I know we've talked about the service desk a little bit before.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, the service desk is one of the things that has really been a massive improvement from what I've come from. So the service desk, if we have an issue, we raise it via the service desk in terms of a ticket. We put everything that we have available to us on there. It gets allocated to someone and you get a response within a couple of hours, which is fantastic. That response sometimes might be, we can't help you, we need to send it through to our consultants, but then it's great because you get the visibility and the transparency of that. So you can see through the process. Every system, when you're putting things in, I used to say when I went live, I like to try and find how to break things. Sometimes you find something that doesn't quite work in the system, or you manage to put a date in that then gets coded in somehow. So we've had a few defects along the way, but you can see in that system where the defects are and when the upload's going to go in to correct them. So it's all transparent and there's no hiding behind, oh, we can't do this, or it's going to take this long. We know because you can see it, and you can see when the defect's going to be resolved, and then you watch out for it. And when it goes in, you know it's fixed. And if there are things that can't be fixed straight away, which is unlikely, but we've had one or two, then the service team work with us to make sure that we put a temporary fix in. So you're not left without a solution, which is great.
So I know you've mentioned before that it's your team that manages the internal comms. Now, how does people first support that internal comms strategy?
So the newsfeed for us has been a game changer. So before we'd have to send out emails to all of our employees if something was happening within the business, but we use that newsfeed not only just to put out company news, but also we use it to recognise where employees have done something massive within the business. So our line managers regularly put recognition on there, and it's all liked within the business. And it's great because, as I said, most of our employees are remote, so they get to see this. They open the app and they get to see the news feed straight away. It's been really great for us over the last few months. Our social values group have used it from a wellbeing perspective to share what we're doing around the business in terms of social events, etc. But also where we're doing fundraising events as well. We have an employee at the moment who's going through quite a hard time. They've been diagnosed with 4th stage cancer, and we're using the newsfeed for all the charity events that we're doing to kind of support that individual, which has been fantastic because it means we can get out to the whole business in just a click of a button. So that's been great.
So it really ties into kind of well-being and happiness.
Yeah.
What is happiness in the workplace at McIntyre? How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, so it means a lot to me. Obviously, my title, it's the first time I've been in a role where we've embraced the people and culture title. So culture to me is absolutely key in the business that I'm in. We really wanted to promote a culture which was transparent, where employees can feel happy and have that function of being able to access everything easily, and the system to us has really played an important role in that, and it's hard to measure happiness, isn't it? But if I can measure the amount of interactions from a negative perspective I have from employees coming into the department, that has reduced significantly because they have more visibility of their data, and they can easily main important things to any employee: how to book a holiday and can I see my pay? And both of those things are really easy for them to do using the app. So yeah, that to me, a happy workforce means that they're producing and working in a good way for us. So that's great.
So you mentioned how important it is for your employees to have access to their data. Now, how important is it for you and your team to have access to data as well?
So for my team, it's absolutely critical that they've got access to data, because then they can support business decisions more effectively. So especially at a click of a button. So in the past, we've had the data available, but it's taken quite a while to pull it together. In the system, we can pull reports out straight away. So I use those reports from my own perspective for things like our board reporting, to pull out our KPIs for the business and to share those in terms of kind of our absence, retention, etc. And the team use it on a daily basis and a monthly basis to be able to pull things out. So we can do holiday burn rate, we can do our absence monitoring, and then the team then can really support the business in a much more effective way than they were doing previously. There have been instances where we've not necessarily has all the data that we needed within the report, but we were quite lucky when we went live to be able to be involved in the Data Explorer project.
Yes, so you were involved in that. What was the benefit to you to kind of test out Data Explorer as it came into the product?
So for us, it was great because we were going live with the system. We kind of understood the background to the system. So there were certain reports where we needed information. For example, we needed address information with job information. I could get that from 2 separate reports and merge it together, but actually what the Data Explorer allows us to do is to put the exact fields that we needed into one report and to produce that report. And because we'd got the benefit of knowing where those fields sat within the system, it was fantastic to be able to be part of that project because we could then really help with the formatting and give feedback on how it looked in terms of when it went live for everybody else, which was great.
So lastly, what would you recommend about MHR and what would your advice be to those that are out in the market looking for a new HR and payroll solution?
Yeah, so what I'd recommend for us, it's achieved the main boxes that we wanted in terms of our remote workforce being able to access everything, for it being a one-stop shop, the transparency of the data for everybody, and to make people feel in control of their people experience, which is what we wanted. So it's ticked all of those boxes for us. Back-end perspective, it has really kind of benefited our processes. So we've been able to make our processes more efficient and effective. So those are all the boxes really that it's ticked from our perspective. For anybody looking for a new system, I'd say really have that list of what you're wanting to achieve at the beginning and then look closely at the system to make sure it matches up with what you want. For us, it's been absolutely fantastic. I don't regret putting MHR in. We're a year in now and we've not had any massive teething problems, she says, touching wood. It's been great. Obviously, when you go live with a new system, there's a lot of work that goes behind that. So for anybody that's thinking of looking at a new system, make sure that your old system is got all the right data in and make sure you've set out in your mind what you want a new system to look like, because once you've got that image, then you can work with MHR to get that system looking in the way that you want it to.
Thank you so much for joining us here today, Heather. It's been lovely to hear about your journey with People First so far.
Thank you.
And to any existing customers, if you'd like to talk anything more about the People First modules, please just reach out to your account manager. And if you're new to People First, please head to our website to find out more.